Year 2 of going through this process. How much better do you feel about everything?
A lot better. I think year 2, you're definitely more relaxed. You know what to expect just through the interview process, here as a GM and as a head coach. And then, just kind of going up into the room and running the room and asking these players questions. So, yeah, it's night and day. I'm just ready to attack this offseason, and I can't wait for the draft to get here either.
Okay, well, there's one player that obviously we are most interested in, and that is also a year 2 coming into year 3, Bryce Young.
Yeah.
The growth that we saw out of him this year.
Yeah.
What are you most pleased with?
I'm just the way that he handled the challenges last year. Getting benched after the second week, and then returning and playing the way that he did. It just shows how resilient he is. It just shows how much he loves football and how much he loves competing. So to see him come back, I was like a proud dad. I love the kid. I can't wait to see what he does in the future. I think big things are ahead for him.
No, I was on the sideline for that week 3 game, and I don't know that anyone was more excited about the offense clicking than Bryce was on that sideline.
Yeah.
What do you think he gained in having to watch Andy operate?
Yeah, I think sitting back and watch Andy, Andy's done this for a while now. He's been really successful. So to see him operate the huddle, to run the huddle, to communicate with the coaches, I think Bryce was taking notes. And I also think, it gave Bryce an opportunity to sit back, take a deep breath, and just kind of like recalibrate. And when he came back, he just took off. And it was fun to watch. He got better every single week. And then the way that he ended the season there, the last week in Atlanta, was just like, it was a lot of fun to watch. So looking forward to much more of that in the future.
Can you tangibly see a different swagger to him, a different confidence?
Yeah, I actually always say, too, he put his visor back on, too, which I was kind of excited about. So he wore this visor in college, so he put the visor back on. And I was like, oh, yeah, I kind of like that. So
because of the message it sends?
I don't know. I don't even know why he did it. I didn't even ask him, but he wore it in college, and he put it back on. I don't even know why he put it back on. I don't want to know. But it was cool to see him just play lights out there towards the end of the season.
Okay, so as a general manager now, how do you better support him? What do you need around him?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it's my job to surround him with talent. We did the first step in terms of fixing the offensive line. We signed Robert Hunt. We signed Damian Lewis, which were 2 real big offseason additions for us. And then, Jalen Coker, an undrafted free agent, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen. He has some weapons around him, along with Jatavian Sanders, the tight end. So we do have some young guys around him that we're excited about. But, it's my continued job to keep adding talent, keep adding playmakers around him so he can reach his best.
All right, awesome. Okay, let's have a little fun.
All
right. We often ask players, well, I mean, you were probably asked this a million times as a player, who was your favorite player growing up?
Oh, that's easy. Dan Marino.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though you played defense?
Yep. Dan Marino, my favorite by far. And then cool story is, so I grew up in Philadelphia.
Right.
I was 13 years old. We moved down to South Florida. My dad actually wound up becoming his bodyguard. And
your dad was Dan Marino's bodyguard?
Yeah, he was. Yep. So
how
cool
did that
story.
happen? Was your dad a cop?
No, well, my dad was a former Marine. He hurt his back. He was a roofer, and that was so. Once he hurt his back, he's like, "Let's get out of the cold. Let's go down into the heat." And he was rehabbing his back down there, and he met another quarterback, NFL quarterback, that was rehabbing at the same time as him, named Don Mikowski.
Okay.
And Don Mikowski heard Dan was looking for somebody to drive him and protect him, and my dad got the job.
So, no NDA transfers to a child, right? You could surely tell us some stories.
I mean, I really don't have many stories, but I just thought it was the coolest thing that all of a sudden my dad was his bodyguard, and I'm a 13-year-old kid.
A favorite story of you yourself with Dan Marino?
Not really. I just thought it was – so I actually have a picture of me with him when we were visiting from Philadelphia. We would vacation every December down in South Florida, and we went to a practice, and I got a picture with Dan Marino, and I was actually wearing a John Elway jersey. And I was like pointing at him. So later on, I showed him the picture, and he signed it for me. So yeah, it's
what
kind
about
of a cool
Elway?
story.
Have you had Elway sign it too?
No, I should though. That's
you
a good
really
idea.
should do that.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
All right. Well, the question was actually going to be, once you got into scouting, who's your idol as a GM?
I mean, I got to go John Schneider. You know, John helped me get in this business. He's the first one to hire me. So, yeah, I mean, he's my guy.
Okay. If you could acquire any one player in NFL history to start a franchise with, who would that player have been?
I'm going to go Dan Marino.
Okay.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Yeah.
It is often said that a player might be a coach on the field. Which of your players is a general manager on the field?
J.J. Jansen. He might be a GM in the future, to be honest with you.
Is he already lobbying for a job?
Yeah. But he's pretty brilliant, so I might not turn him down if he asks.
All right. We won't sleep on it.